The moment the NBA officially announced the All-Star reserves, Celtics fans already felt it coming. There was no shock, no gasp. Just that familiar, irritating feeling of knowing the league was about to overlook something important again. Derrick White was not selected, and while it may have been expected, it still landed like a quiet punch to the gut. Not because Boston fans believe awards define players, but because this snub perfectly captures how the Celtics continue to be misunderstood, underestimated, and quietly fueled by disrespect. This is not a story about outrage. It is not a conspiracy. And it is not about box score arguments on social media. This is about something deeper, something that has defined this Celtics season from the very beginning. Motivation, identity, and the power of being doubted when everything you are doing screams that you belong at the very top. Derrick White did not make the All-Star team, and on the surface the reasons are obvious. His raw numbers do not jump off the page. 17 points per game, just over 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Shooting percentages that have dipped during a prolonged slump. In a league that often rewards volume scoring and highlight reels, those numbers do not sell themselves. If you only read stat sheets, you probably move on without a second thought. But basketball is not played on spreadsheets, and the Celtics know that better than anyone. Inside the organization, there is no panic, no bitterness expressed publicly. Joe Mazzulla will never say the All-Star team matters. The Celtics culture does not revolve around individual validation. It revolves around winning. Still, that does not mean this went unnoticed. It does not mean it did not sting. And it certainly does not mean it will not be remembered. The Celtics sit near the top of the Eastern Conference. They have exceeded nearly every preseason expectation placed upon them. After Jayson Tatum suffered a devastating Achilles injury, most of the basketball world quietly crossed Boston off the list of serious contenders. Instead, the Celtics responded by becoming one of the most resilient, disciplined, and connected teams in the league. And yet, when the All-Star selections were finalized, Boston walked away with just one representative. Meanwhile, teams around them in the standings received far more recognition. Detroit landed multiple All-Stars. New York did the same. Even teams with inferior records and far less consistency were rewarded with individual accolades. The message may not have been intentional, but it was loud enough. Boston is winning, but the league is still not fully buying in. That is exactly where this team thrives. Celtics roster has been built on chips on shoulders. Every single rotation player seems to be playing with something to prove. Jaylen Brown entered the season with doubts swirling around whether he could truly lead a team without Tatum beside him. Responded by elevating his game, embracing the pressure, and proving he can carry an offense while still impacting both ends of the floor. Joe Mazzulla faced skepticism of his own. Questions about his adaptability, his leadership, his ability to win without a so-called super team. Night after night, he has answered those questions not with sound bites, but with results. His team is organized, it is prepared, and it competes with a clear identity. Peyton Pritchard was told he could not be more than a spark plug. He has become a reliable offensive engine capable of starting games and closing them. Neemias Queta was seen as depth. He has played like a legitimate starting center. Other players were barely considered rotation-worthy and now deliver meaningful minutes on a team chasing home court advantage. This is what Boston is, a group that absorbs doubt and converts it into focus. Derrick White fits that identity perfectly. His value has never been about scoring titles or individual awards. It is about control. He is the connective tissue of this team. He organizes the offense. He covers defensive mistakes before they happen. He makes the extra rotation. He sacrifices touches so others can thrive. His impact is felt most when he is not doing anything flashy at all. There is a reason why every lineup featuring Derrick White seems to function better. There is a reason why coaches trust him in closing moments. There is a reason why opposing teams game plan around him even when his stat line looks modest. He does the things that do not show up in highlights but decide games. That kind of player rarely gets rewarded in All-Star voting, especially when shooting slumps obscure efficiency and raw numbers do not tell the full story. Historically, this has always been the case. The All-Star game has never been built to celebrate subtle dominance. It celebrates obvious production. So no, this snub was not shocking. But disappointment and surprise are not the same thing. What made this sting was the context. Coaches select the All-Star reserves. Coaches understand defensive impact. Coaches understand off-ball value. Coaches understand what makes winning sustainable. Many Celtics fans believed that if anyone would recognize Derrick White's importance, it would be the people who game plan against him. Instead, those spots went to players with bigger scoring totals on teams struggling to stay afloat. Players whose individual numbers shine while their teams fall short. And that is not wrong. Those players earned their recognition within the system as it exists. But it reinforces a truth the Celtics already live by. Recognition does not always align with winning. That truth becomes fuel. Celtics have already been playing as if the world is waiting for them to fail. Losing Tatum was supposed to be the end of the conversation. Instead, it became the beginning of something new. A tougher identity, a sharper edge, a collective understanding that nothing will be given to them. Derrick White's exclusion is simply another layer added to that mindset. Another reminder that respect must be taken, not granted. And if history has taught us anything, it is that Derrick White responds best when he feels overlooked. He does not complain. He does not chase validation. He tightens his focus. He defends harder. He moves the ball quicker. He makes smarter decisions. And the Celtics benefit every single time. There is also something important to remember. All-star selections do not define legacies. Championships do. The Celtics understand this better than most franchises. Individual accolades fade quickly. Banners do not. Boston is not chasing validation from February exhibitions. They are chasing something far more meaningful. And moments like this reinforce why their approach works. While others celebrate mid-season honors, the Celtics keep stacking habits that matter in May and June. This season has already become a case study in internal motivation. The team that was supposed to fall apart has instead found cohesion. The roster that lacked star power has found balance. The player who did not make the All-Star team remains one of the most important pieces on a contender. And that may be the greatest irony of all. Derrick White does not need the All-Star nod to validate his role. The Celtics' success already does that. But make no mistake, this will not be forgotten. Not by him, not by the locker room, and not by a team that has built its entire season on the idea that doubt is not a weakness, but an advantage. As the second half of the season unfolds, expect this chip to show itself in subtle ways. In tighter defensive rotations, in smarter late-game execution, in a team that continues to outwork expectations while the conversation focuses elsewhere. The All-Star game will come and go. The Celtics will still be standing, still winning, still proving that impact matters more than headlines. And when the games start to matter most, when the lights are brightest and pressure is unavoidable, the players who thrive are rarely the ones chasing recognition. They are the ones fueled by being overlooked. If you want to follow how this motivation shapes the Celtics' journey, how players like Derrick White continue to define winning basketball beyond the box score, and how this season unfolds when expectations collide with reality, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. The story is far from over, and the most important chapters are still ahead.